Here we go. We are now recording. And I would love to introduce everybody to Phil Wood. He's absolutely amazing and a huge mentor of mine, and a very good, I don't know if he knows this, but a good friend of mine as well. And I'm so excited for you guys to be able to spend some time with him and have him be able to share a leadership message. So Phil, you can take it away.
Outstanding. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my keynote. And I prefer to just embed myself in the keynote. I feel like it makes it way easier to see me because I want to be seen. Um, I am excited. So, just to share with you a little bit of who I am, I have been with Paul Mitchell now 20 years? Yeah, 2 decades. I've been teaching. I've been doing hair for a quarter of a century, about 25 years. Um, I am a licensed cosmetology instructor, a licensed barber instructor, a licensed esthetician instructor, and a licensed nail tech instructor. I've taught all 4 programs. Theory is my jam. I taught theory for 14 years, cutting, color, texture, and makeup specialties. I ran the service desk for 7 years when I first started. I've done a few different things. I work behind the chair. I've owned salons. And it's funny, when I was talking with Tammy about the message that I wanted to share, there was something that immediately came to mind when I thought about what has contributed to my success behind the chair, and not even just my success behind the chair, but the success I've had working in the school and then joining the color team and then creating my own position as the clinic classroom education specialist for Paul Mitchell. It all came back to one specific thing that I really feel helped helped benefit me when I first got started. And honestly, even before I ever did hair, when I was doing graphics design for Adobe in Silicon Valley or a retail store manager, there was one thing that always played an important role in my ability to move up the ladder to get to where I needed to go, and that was understanding the importance of relationships. And not just the relationships you have with your friends and family, but these 6 tools that I want to share with you have personally changed my career, how I engage my husband, my family, and even my friends. So I want to share with you some of the things that have helped. And when I think about an example of relationships, I go back to my very first client I ever did as a professional hairdresser. And I remember her name is Carol Nessman. She's still my client to this day. So I've been doing her hair literally almost 25 years. And last time she came into the salon to get her retouch and her haircut, uh, I had turned to her and I asked her, I was like, Carol, can you believe how long I've been doing your hair? You were my first client, and now I've been doing your hair over 24, almost 25 years consecutively. And she turned to me and she said, yeah, when you first started, you were horrible. And I yeah, yeah, I see. Like literally, I did the same thing. I was all, um, excuse me, what had happened? Because I feel like you just said I was horrible. And she's like, oh, yeah, when you first started, you were slow. You tried to give me what I asked for. I mean, you didn't. I mean, but it was like a real good try. And I was like, um, and the next question out of my mouth confirmed what I want to share with you. And that is relationships. And she turned to me and she said, I knew you would get better. And you did. And I started then thinking about what had contributed to her staying, because she clearly said that I was not a good hairdresser. I mean, we all think back. Think back to the first time you were on the clinic classroom and you took your very first appointment. For some of us, it was great. For me, I remember my first appointment when I was a student, and it didn't turn out very well. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me. But what she said next was so valuable. She said, I knew you would get better. And the one thing I could not replace was how you treated me. You treated me in such a way that it made me want to come back. You were funny. You listened to what I had to say. You tried to give me what I wanted. You made me feel important. You made me feel like I was the center of attention. You went out of your way to make it an experience. And that really made me think that how we treat people can outweigh sometimes technical performance. I think back to something that Robert Cromines said to me one time. Um, he's like, oh, I couldn't cut a straight line if my life depended on it, but it's how I treat people that keeps them coming back. And that really resonated with me because I then began to understand that treating people with respect, collaborating with others, to listen, speak less. No, speak less, listen more. I had to make sure I said that right. That goes a long way. And she then shared with me that you did get better. And it was worth that little bit of time for you to finally hit your stride and understand the technical aspects. And I was willing to wait for you to reach that point because I couldn't replace how you made me feel. And I can tell you pretty much every single one of my clients. I have 389 clients that I've been doing. I think my newest client that I've been taking care of, I've only been doing their hair for 16 years. I don't take new clients because my books are full. When I tell them, yeah, my next available appointment is June of 2024, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, my clients book two, sometimes three appointments out because they want to make sure they get their time with me. So it really helped me to realize how I treat people and the relationships I build, not only with my clientele, but the relationships I build with my coworkers. And for you, the relationships you build with your fellow classmates, with your learning leaders. I mean, I know when you start core, those are your core buddies. It's tried and true. You always have that one person that is your bestie from core, but it's how we nurture the relationships that help us to be stronger and understand how we connect. My ability to go up to another stylist and say, hey, could I hand you foils while you work? My appointment isn't showing up for another 30 minutes. Could I assist you? Just those little tidbits of helping foster a healthy relationship with your coworkers, with your boss, and definitely with your clientele. So I have 6 tools that have helped me build relationships. And so the very first one is how we communicate and that authentic communication. Uh, Communication pretty much is the staple, it's the bread and butter of any relationship. And being able to be authentically you in how you communicate with people, because I think all of us would agree. You can tell when someone is just saying something to say it, or you can tell that they don't genuinely mean the words that are coming out of their mouth. Um, it is off-putting. And when you're able to be authentic and open and respect the people that you are communicating with, it increases that relationship, their ability to connect with you, and allows us to be more proactive. And when working on communication, the very first thing is we have to listen, actively listen, and not just formulating what we're going to say next. We listen to understand, not listen to respond. And I'm guilty of this, where someone would be talking and I'm already formulating my response before they've even finished talking. And that is pretty common in this industry, especially with hairdressers. They say, "Oh, I want to cut my hair up to here." And okay, we already start formulating what we're going to say next before we actually truly understand what the guest is saying. And active listening is really taking that moment to understand what they're saying and almost repeat back to. So, for my understanding, what I hear you saying is you would like to cut your hair just above shoulder length. Was that touching shoulder or above shoulder, in order to truly narrow down what it is that we need to accomplish in their visit? So we need to have empathy and clarity in how we communicate this information in order to help strengthen the trust that our guest, our teammates, and even our boss may have within us. Now, the second one is establishing trust. And establishing trust is the currency of successful relationships. If you don't trust someone, then what we tend to do is do it ourselves. Because if I don't trust that you're going to accomplish it when I need it done, if I don't trust what you're saying to me, then I'm not coming back to you in the future. And this is the trust that we have with our team, with our guests, and how we communicate with them. That trust helps create consistency. It's fostered through being reliable and having integrity in the way we approach things. And we need to be able to encourage a culture where promises are kept, where support is offered, and where individuals feel safe to voice their opinions free of judgment. And that really is, I feel like I'm in a safe space. I've been out to your schools, we've met, and I feel like we have good rapport. And I feel like I am in a safe space. But if you've ever not felt like you were in a safe space, it causes you to draw back. It causes you to not communicate properly because you're not sure of the people around you or the circumstances you're in. So being that person who's consistent. Like, I don't start work till technically 9 o'clock, but I'm always there at 8 because I want to be the first one to arrive, the last one to leave. I want them to know that no matter what, I'll be there to open up the school. I can get the desk going. I can start appointments. Whatever it is, whatever capacity I'm working in, I always want to be that person. I go back to something we used to have something called Caper. It was an event that we put on every year. And I remember um, Robert Cromeans, our artistic director, had made a comment. No one invited him to this event. He just showed up. And so when I wanted to be a part of this event, I just flew myself in early and I just walked backstage like I was supposed to be there and walked up and was like, "Can I shampoo out your guest? Do you need me to get you anything?" I made sure that every year I was there, I was on time, I was consistent, and it actually opened up doors for me to be able to perform on stage. I just became a staple and that they trusted that I was going to be there, that I was going to work hard, that I was going to do what I said. And that enabled them to trust that I would be able to facilitate what they need and led to opportunities. It's funny, my husband, he tells me frequently, "Why do you always go above and beyond what they ask?" And I'm like, "Oh, because I want to show them what I'm capable of. I want them to know that if you tell me you need this, I'm going to give you all of it and more." And that has opened up jobs, whether I was a retail store manager for Versace in California, whether I was working behind the chair, whether I was working at Adobe, whatever it was, I always made sure that I tried to go above and beyond the bare minimum. And that helped to create the trust that allowed me to progress and move through my career. And now that I'm pushing 50, um, it definitely has given me opportunities that I know if I wouldn't have been that type of person to push myself, that it wouldn't have allowed me to have the opportunities I currently have. And even told my husband, I was like, work hard now while you're young and you still can, so that you make your life later easier. But if you procrastinate and you do the bare minimum now, you're only going to make your life harder later. And I think back to when I was teaching theory every day I would make posters because I'm old enough. We didn't have keynotes or iPads back when I first started. You had to make everything on a poster. Words are hard. Spelling is not my forte, and posters don't have spell check. So I made a lot of posters. But I remember every chapter when I would teach theory, I would make out my posters, I would set them up in my living room, and on commercial breaks, I would practice. And my husband's like, "Why do you do all of this?" I was like, "Because if I prep it all and I work hard now, I will save these so next year, when I have to teach the same information, all the work is done." And then as years progressed, it got easier and easier because I did all the hard work up front. I created that trust in my future professionals and my teammates that they knew I was the master of all classes. No matter what you needed me to teach, I could facilitate it because I did a lot of the hard work at the beginning of my career. Now, the next one I want to talk about is collaboration and teamwork. Uh, I know that I am amazing, that I have valuable information to share, but the reality of it is that there are so many brilliant people, from the stylist in my salon to the educators I work with to even the guests that I have. Collaboration is one way to allow for diverse perspectives, um, and skill sets coming together to allow for problem solving, because my way is not the only way. I mean, unless you're talking to my husband, then my way is the only way every time. But he has good ideas. Don't get me wrong. He does. I just don't agree most of the time. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the reality is, sometimes allowing the perspectives and the skill sets of others to come together to solve problems allow us to achieve our goals much quicker and celebrate the successes of our teammates. I've had to learn in, especially in my new position, I'm not always the best at everything, but I am really good at coordinating others to help make us all look amazing. Prime example, I had to do a presentation for the network at Beverly Hills. So I reached out to someone that I've collaborated with, that I trust, that is a good friend, that always over prepares like me, and that's Tammy. And so Tammy and I got to share the stage at ELT because I know, one, she has an amazing work ethic. She's not only hardworking, but she has brilliant insight into our schools. She's been with the schools for a long time. And so I've actually had her collaborate with me on the new phase 2 guide and the information that was just released. She presented and assisted in several different aspects, and I knew I could trust her. She worked hard to earn my trust, and I worked hard to help earn her trust. And yes, we are friends. We're good friends. We talk frequently. Um, but it is that ability to collaborate with the people around us. I know oftentimes when I'm working behind the chair, and definitely when I was a future professional, I would be one of those ones where a learning leader would come over and say, "Hey, I'm going to have Tammy assist you in this highlight." "No, I'm fine. I can do it myself. I don't need any help." And the reality was, I did, because then I was late for specialty class and late to my theory class, and or had to stay late. And had I just been willing to accept some help, help is hard. Asking others for help, I feel like a majority of people see it as a weakness when you have to ask for help. But the reality is, you actually have to be strong. And asking for help is a quality that you need. There are times where I've had guests come in where I've been like, "I see your mouth moving. I just don't understand the words that are coming out of it." And I've literally had to go get another stylist and say, "Hey, would you mind coming over? She's trying to explain something, but I'm not understanding what she's asking." And then they'll communicate to the other stylist, and the stylist's like, "Oh, she wants a square one length with round layers." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I don't know what she was talking about." But there are those moments where collaboration can help everyone succeed. And another way to strengthen the relationship is truly thinking about how we collaborate, and that we celebrate the overall successes that we each have. And we do that in the Paul Mitchell culture. That's like culture 101. We start every all school huddle with celebrations and victories. And it's an opportunity for you to show your gratitude for the people who have done an amazing job, that it wasn't overlooked. I did see what you not only did for me or what you did for your guest. And allowing that opportunity for the culture to come in, no matter where you work or what you're doing, it allows you to connect on a different level and allows others to see how gracious you are and the gratitude you have, and the ability to celebrate those small victories with your coworkers, with your classmates, and even with the guests. I frequently, with my clientele, write down in Mevo, because we utilize Mevo in my salon. It's good enough for the school, it's good enough for me at the salon. And I use the visit notes, and we'll put in there, went to Disneyland. Make sure you talk about it next time they come in. And then ask them, oh my gosh, how exciting. You went to Disneyland. Tell me all about your trip. It allows us to create a connection. And even though we're not collaborating on their haircut, that collaboration and allowing them to converse on the things that are passionate for them, and that I can celebrate those victories or the things that they've done or the excitement that they're having, will help me to connect on a different level with them as well. Now, the next one is respecting differences. And um, we want to have that inclusive atmosphere, not only in our schools, but in the salon. Having a diverse team, having that inclusion, because honestly, I say this all the time. I didn't get in this industry to be broke. I got in this industry to make money so I could pay my bills and feed my babies. Like, and being able to communicate and be inclusive allows me to see different perspectives, and being able to respect the um, overall opinions and backgrounds and approaches are crucial. And encourage this inclusive environment helps us to value their unique contributions. Now, we also really want to focus on building rapport, and encourages employees to go above and beyond the immediate teams and departments, fostering relationships across the organization. Networking not only expands the opportunity, but it enriches the perspectives and creates more uh, interconnected work environment. Now, the very last one is conflict resolution. And I know we're almost out of time, but this last one is so important. We need to remember to respond instead of react. Um, and when we're able to do that, and it definitely has helped me in my work, but this particular one has helped me in my marriage. Um, because there are moments where I may shake him till he falls asleep, but I need to think of a different way to communicate so we can resolve our conflicts together respectfully, in order to turn disagreements into opportunities for growth. So, overall, these would be the six fundamental things that have helped my career when it comes to building relationships and strengthening my ability to be a good leader, a good husband, a good teammate, a good stylist, and has successfully helped my career. So thank you so much for your time with me today. I greatly appreciate and am so honored to be here with you. Um, and so is Tammy in the classroom with you guys still? Oh, she came out of the
Hello.
woodworks.
I just appeared. Hello. Phil, thank you so much for your message. It was outstanding. I was taking notes, and I think that our future professionals have gained a lot from your time with them today.
Go team.
Yes. Maybe we can all give Phil a round of applause.
Okay, you guys. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk next time.
Thank you, Phil.
Bye.